You stay late. Nobody thanks you. You skip your kid's recital because the team needs you. You answer emails at 11 p.m. because that is what family does. And then one Tuesday morning, you get called into a meeting. They tell you the company is restructuring. They tell you your position has been eliminated. They thank you for your dedication. And just like that, you realize the truth. You were never family. You were labor they got on discount. Every corporate job posting, every company values page, every onboarding deck eventually says it. We are like a family here. It sounds warm. It sounds safe. It sounds like exactly what you want after spending 8 hours a day somewhere. But here's what nobody tells you. When a company calls itself a family, they are not describing how they will treat you. They are describing how they expect you to treat them. And those two things could not be more different. This is office warfare, where careers are won, lost, and sometimes sabotaged. And nobody tells you the rules until it is too late. I'm going to show you exactly how the family manipulation playbook works, the psychology behind why it is so effective, the 8 specific tactics companies use to exploit your loyalty, and what you can do to protect yourself without becoming cynical or bitter. Once you see this pattern, you will never hear, "We are like a family here," the same way again. Here's the thing nobody explains about corporate family culture. It is not an accident. It is not just bad management using clumsy language. It is a deliberate psychological strategy, and researchers have been documenting it for decades. Back in 1987, researchers Ruth Smith and Eric Eisenberg studied Disney employees during a labor dispute. What they found was disturbing. Disney had deliberately constructed family metaphors to increase loyalty and commitment. When the company froze wages and cut benefits, employees felt personally betrayed, not just professionally disappointed. Because families do not do that to each other. The family metaphor had created a power imbalance that benefited management during every single conflict. More recently, researchers at Duke University studied 1,400 managers and discovered something even more troubling. Loyal employees are not just taken for granted, they are selectively targeted for exploitation. Managers assign them unpaid overtime, extra tasks, and weekend work specifically because they are loyal. The lead researcher, Matthew Stanley, explained it this way. Companies want loyal workers, and there's a ton of research showing that loyal workers provide all sorts of positive benefits. But it seems like managers are apt to target them for exploitative practices. This creates what researchers call a vicious circle of suffering. Workers who accept exploitation develop stronger reputations for loyalty. That reputation leads to more exploitation, which builds more loyalty reputation, and the cycle continues until the employee burns out or quits. The mechanism enabling this is what psychologists call ethical blindness. Managers genuinely do not recognize their behavior as harmful because they believe loyalty comes with a duty to make personal sacrifices. And the data backs this up. MIT Sloan research found that toxic culture is 10 times more powerful than compensation in predicting whether someone will quit. 10 times. That means the "we are like a family" environment that feels so warm during the interview becomes the exact thing that pushes you out the door 3 years later. So what does this manipulation actually look like in practice? There are 8 specific tactics hiding behind family language. Once you know them, you will start seeing them everywhere. The first tactic is justifying unpaid overtime. The language sounds like this. Family pitches in. We all sacrifice together. It exploits evolutionary psychology that makes humans break their backs for actual family members. Research shows 49% of workers perform unpaid overtime weekly, averaging 4.5 hours of uncompensated work. That is nearly 6 extra weeks of labor every single year that you are giving away for free. Because family. The second tactic is discouraging boundary setting. Family does not clock out. When you are truly committed, you're always available. Communications at all hours carry implicit expectations of immediate response. One employee described it this way. What was once a standard 9 to 5 workday has been filled with loose guidelines, unrealistic for the volume of work expected. The third tactic is creating guilt around leaving. In family culture workplaces, resignations are treated as personal betrayal. One worker shared her experience. "I'm terrified to tell my managers because I have seen them take other long-time employees' resignations as a personal betrayal." This is not management disappointment. This is manufactured guilt designed to keep you trapped. The fourth tactic is discouraging salary negotiations. Family does not nickel and dime each other. One job seeker reported being offered a non-negotiable salary of about 70% of the average starting salary. I guess family was supposed to make up for the low pay. The data shows 55% of workers do not ask for higher salaries, with 53% citing discomfort and 38% not wanting to appear greedy. When employees actually do negotiate, 85% receive at least some of what they request. They are counting on your guilt to save them money. The fifth tactic is masking favoritism. Tight-knit family culture means trouble when the focus is on welcoming similarities and excluding differences. Those who do not fit the family style become outsiders. pushed out for lacking cultural fit. It is a way to discriminate while maintaining plausible deniability. The sixth tactic is suppressing complaints. Family does not air dirty laundry. This discourages employees from speaking out against wrongdoing and creates pressure to protect those who have behaved badly. It is why harassment and misconduct fester in family culture companies. Nobody wants to be the one who broke up the family. The seventh tactic is creating artificial intimacy. This uses love-bombing tactics borrowed directly from cults: excessive praise, forced socialization, mandatory team building, sharing personal information to create false bonds that increase compliance. The intimacy feels real, but it serves a purpose. The eighth and most fundamental tactic is establishing one-way loyalty. Companies expect family-level commitment while offering nothing resembling family-level support. As one workplace expert noted, the higher the manager, the bigger his incentive to play the family card, the more likely it is that it is all a big lie. Real families have unconditional love and financial safety nets. Your employer has quarterly earnings and an HR department. Let me tell you about WeWork. Because WeWork represents the definitive case study of family rhetoric masking complete dysfunction. Employees were led in chants of "we" at onboarding meetings. CEO Adam Neumann positioned the company as a family with mission-driven language about elevating the world's consciousness. He bragged about working until 2 or 3 a.m. and told employees, "Never give up, work until you drop." The culture included mandatory participation in summer camp retreats that resembled electronic music festivals more than team meetings, celebrations of layoffs with tequila shots, and expectations that employees accept lower salaries because they believed in the mission. Employees took lower pay because they bought the family promise. They gave their nights and weekends. They defended the company to skeptics. And then it all collapsed. The $47 billion valuation evaporated. Sexual harassment lawsuits emerged alleging an entitled frat boy culture. The company filed for bankruptcy in November 2023. A female employee eventually confronted Rebecca Newman, the company's chief brand officer, and said what everyone was thinking. "Stop saying that. This place is nothing like a family. The pattern repeats everywhere." At Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes told employees the company's technology was the most important thing humanity has ever built, and anyone not showing complete devotion and unmitigated loyalty should leave immediately. Former employees report having PTSD from the workplace bullying. At Uber, Susan Fowler's 2017 expose revealed sexual harassment on her first day, with HR protecting high performers over victims. At Away, the CEO sent 3 a.m. Slack messages framing abuse as career development opportunities. Same playbook, different company. The charismatic leader positions themselves as a parent figure beyond reproach. The mission gets inflated until a mundane business becomes world-changing. Work-life boundaries disappear. Criticism gets treated as betrayal. HR protects the company, not the employees. And the family members who gave everything get discarded when they are no longer useful. Now look at your workplace. Listen to how people talk about the company. Watch what happens when someone sets a boundary or pushes back on a request. If you hear family language when someone explains why you need to work late, that is stage 1. They are establishing the frame. If you feel guilty for taking your actual vacation days, that is stage 2. The guilt is working. If colleagues who maintain boundaries get labeled as not team players, that is stage 3. The enforcement mechanism is active. If you have seen people leave and watched management treat it as betrayal, that is stage 4. The trap is fully set. Ask yourself this: when was the last time this family did something for you that cost them something? When did they sacrifice for your benefit the way they expect you to sacrifice for theirs? If you cannot think of an answer, you are not in a family. You are in a one-sided arrangement that uses family language to extract labor without fair compensation. Sound familiar? Here is what works. Define your limits explicitly before you need them. What hours will you work? What tasks fall within your role? What communication will you accept outside work hours? Decide these things when you are calm, not when you are being pressured. Document everything: conversations, assignments, feedback, deadlines, and any instances of manipulation. Keep records outside company systems. Learn specific language for setting boundaries. I cannot work late tonight. No justification needed. I have prior commitments. Personal time is valid. I can take this on, but it will push back Project A, which matters more. When pushed for reasons, simply repeat your boundary calmly. Excessive explanations signal guilt and give manipulators openings. Find allies. Identify colleagues who successfully maintain boundaries and watch how they do it. You do not have to fight this alone. And if the situation is unsalvageable, if you dread work every day, if you have physical symptoms like headaches and sleep problems, if good people are leaving quietly, then build your exit plan while still employed. Update your resume, contact recruiters, apply discreetly. 58.9% of employees would accept a lower salary to escape a toxic work environment. You are not alone in wanting out. The solution is not cynicism, it is clarity. Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings rejected family culture explicitly. He said, "It used to be a classic metaphor for companies, the family. And it is kind of baloney because you will lay someone off in a way that you would not, your sister. It is like you want them to work for you like they were a family member for free and cheap, but you are not really prepared to treat them like a family member if you are honest. Work is an economic transaction, labor for money. It can include genuine affection for colleagues, meaningful missions, and collaborative satisfaction. But it remains a place that might fire you or lay you off if they decide it is in their interests. Acknowledging this reality is not cold, it is honest. And honesty protects you in ways that family mythology never will. Now you know the playbook. What you do with it is up to you. If this shifted how you see your workplace, hit subscribe. The game has more levels, and I will show you each one.